Hello guys, Viktor here. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about upcoming Vietnam war game called the Burning Lands, something that I'm looking forward to with eager anticipation, and I hope you guys too. From developers that crafted Australian modification for Squad, back then known as Midnight Interactive. Shortly after releasing Mansion Faction, they made a deal with OWI, which brought them resources needed and that would push them forward into developing their own game and changing their name to 0 Hour Interactive. At this frame time, they had enough developers and resources to start their ambitious project of bringing their Vietnam War based game to life. It's worth to mention this game will be built from scratch and it's not gonna use OWI Squad Core, which is actually a good thing. There will be a bit of fresh air coming into genre of milsim games. The project is aiming for striking the best possible balance between realism and accessibility to bring a large-scale team play you have not seen before in this scenario. They are planning on having drivable boats, flyable helicopters, sling loading, traps, capturing some enemy assets, and that's the beginning of their list, which will expand over time. And believe it or not, implementation of progression system. And Burning Lands, progression will be shown by your character model, like you have been in combat for longer time, and I think that's really great idea. It's a unique approach to the progression system. I don't think we ever seen something like this before. There's already plenty of maps that we know about: An Lao, OP Masher, Ladrang, and Kaysan. An Lao will provide us with countryside combat on the vast rice fields and still burning buildings. Kaysan will take us along the DMZ to the border of Laos, where we're gonna experience a bit of close quarters combat while fighting over Kaysan airfield base. There will be maps featuring 4 square kilometers, 16 and 32, so we already know that maps will be pretty big. Urban maps are also an option. 0 Hour wants to give us a mixture of maps, and I would like to see Battle of Hue. That would be really cool. I'm expecting in some of those maps many rivers and waterways that will bring us new type of water combat. I can picture those PT boats opening fire and RPGs flying over your head out of nowhere. It's gonna be awesome for sure. Sling loading will be interesting feature. Something exciting for pilots, which means you will be able to transport containers with large amount of supplies to the front line. And obviously you will need powerful helicopter like Chinook to lift it up. I love new look on the supply system. Other good news, we're gonna get flight model aimed for arcade semi-realistic simulation similar to Rising Storm 2. You could say it's physics based, and a lot of players already enjoy that flight model. We already know what flying machines they will drop, some famous for that era, Huey and CH-47 Chinook, that will be essential to bring supplies to the front lines and maybe even vehicles. 0 Hour Interactive didn't forget about you armor lovers, there is something for you. For instance, PT-76 amphibious tank, something we don't see often in games. The last game I remember this tank from was Battlefield Vietnam, but that was like 17 years ago, and I'm really happy to see that tank coming back. And it's quite interesting how the tank battles will play out. A US Army will get famous M48 Patton, those are confirmed tanks so far. But I guess there will be some additions in the future updates, like T-55, M551 Sheridan, or maybe even T-34. But what really got my attention are the new weapons. M14, really great rifle. M60, it's one of my favorite. Few variations of AK. Famous or maybe infamous M16, and even flamethrower. That was always cool to use it in other games. 0 Hour Interactive will give us variety of other weaponry like RPG-7, grenade launchers, SMGs, bolt action rifles, and more. To make combat more authentic, PAVN will have access to landmines and perhaps other traps that were not announced yet. They mentioned they would love to add an Australian faction and Vietcong. The last one could get improvised traps like spikes, traps falling from trees, grenade traps, cartridge traps, snake pits, tiger traps, pressure release traps, bamboo whip. There's so many options. From what we know, we won't be able to fly planes, there will be commander assets like in Squad. We're gonna get MiG-21 and A4 Skyhawk. Those will be similar to Airstrike that we've got in Squad, A10 and SU-25 Frogfoot. I'm also expecting to see emplacements like machine guns, anti-tank guns, sandbags, foxholes, mortars, and any other buildables we'll get in the game. I'm so happy there is another milsim game on the horizon to look forward to. I wonder what changes will it bring to the genre. I will try to support their project. I think this year they will be starting their Kickstarter campaign. So if you are really interested in their project, check their website and their Discord channel. You will find all the links in the description. That's all for today. See you guys in the next video.